Hello and welcome into this week's NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind show right here on Racing News Now. As always, I'm your host, Garth Allen. Thank you once again for joining me today. If this is your first time catching a Racing News Now video, consider going down below to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. On today's Xfinity Rewind, we're looking back at Saturday's 37th Annual Alsco 300 laps, 159.9 miles around the half-mile Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. Really tame race by Bristol standards. Only 4 cautions in this race for a total of 40 laps. First caution came in Stage 1 at lap number 44 as the 4 of Ross Chastain and the 38 of Jeff Green got together in Turn 1. That would be the end of the day for both of them. Not a good start to the day for Ross Chastain. We talked last week after Texas about how really with 13 playoff competitive cars and 12 playoff spots, Ross Chastain seemed to be the odd man out with Ryan Sieg running so well here early in the season. This does not help his playoff chances, as we will see here as we look at the playoff grid later. Stage 1 concluded at lap 85, and Justin Allgaier would be your Stage 1 winner. Lap 166 would be your next caution. The 51 of Jeremy Clements spins in Turn 1, and this was such a close call, not only for Tyler Reddick, but also for Christopher Bell. Headed down into Turn 1, Clements had just gotten lapped by your leader, Justin Allgaier. Saw an opening that he thought might be his chance to try and get back on the lead lap in case there was a caution. Unfortunately, the move was a little too chaotic, got him loose, spins up the track, barely misses Tyler Reddick, but is even closer to getting Christopher Bell. I mean, you might not have been able to stick a sheet of paper between those two cars. They got that close. And that before Clements starts sliding down the hill again, closest call I've seen in a long time that didn't result in some sort of contact. Amazing luck by Christopher Bell not to get caught up in this. This turned into the Stage 2 conclusion caution, though, as we were only a couple laps from the end of Stage 2. Justin Allgaier would be your Stage 2 winner as well. Very dominant car on the day for Justin Allgaier. Final caution of the day came at lap 261 as the 18 of Harrison Burton cut a tire, got into the wall in Turn 2. 11 lead changes in this race among 5 drivers. Justin Allgaier led the most laps at 138. 61 laps were led by Tyler Reddick, 57 laps went to Christopher Bell, 25 laps led by Cole Custer, and 19 laps were led by Brandon Jones. All right, let's get into your results on the day. Did Justin Allgaier complete the sweep on the day? Both stage wins, led the most laps. Did he get his first win of 2019? No, he did not. After an accident late in the race, lap 227 caused him to get into the wall, had to take it behind the wall. From engine issues, not the finish that Justin Allgaier was looking for. He was so disappointed after this one. He knew he had this race won and just did not get the chance to fight for it there in the last 70 laps. Christopher Bell, though, would take his second victory of the season over Tyler Reddick. Tyler Reddick, once again, a second-place finish. Tyler Reddick strong every single race this year and has yet to pick up that victory. He's been so close. I really wanted to see the Dolly Parton car win. That would have been really cool because Tyler Reddick did have a pink Dolly Parton car this weekend, and I think that would have been really cool to see go to victory lane. Was not in the cards for Tyler Reddick, though. Second in both stages and second at the end of the race for Tyler Reddick. Cole Custer came home in the third position with his Stewart-Haas teammate Chase Briscoe in fourth, so a great day for Stewart-Haas Racing. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's the first time both Stewart-Haas cars have been in the top 5 this season. John Hunter Nemechek rounds out the top 5 with what he claimed to be his best car he's had all season from that GMS bunch, and he showed it. I think this was definitely his best run of the season. That team's steadily making improvements. I think a win is just around the corner for John Hunter in that 23 car if they continue to make the improvements that they seem to be making. Rest of your top 10, Austin Cindric, Justin Haley, Michael Annett, Noah Gragson, and Harrison Burton rounds out the top 10, even after his issue late rebounded for a top 10 finish in his first Xfinity start. 11th through 20th, the last car on the lead lap was Zane Smith in the 8. Did a lot of passing cars today. Started from the rear after an engine change. Fell a lap down a couple different times. Got his laps back. And was able to salvage an 11th place finish on the day. Definitely not what he was looking for on the day, but I think, if nothing else, a good learning experience for Zane Smith. Ryan Sieg came home with another solid finish in the 12th position. Not the top 10s he's become accustomed to this season, but still a good finish there in 12th. Brandon Jones came home in the 14th position. 21st through 30th, Kyle Weatherman makes his return there in the 28th position for Rick Ware Racing 17 car, and Justin Allgaier would land in the 30th position today after his engine issue / accident there with about 75 laps to go. Final page, 31st through 37th, Ross Chastain landed down here in the 33rd position, not a good points day for Ross Chastain, and we will see when we get to the playoff grid. It has definitely hurt his playoff chances. Definitely not out of it yet. We've got a long time to go till the playoffs, but I just have not seen the performance out of that 4 car so far this season to say that he can make that up. I think he does still have another couple starts in the 10 car for Colleague Racing, so it's possible he might sneak out a win when he gets into that car, but I don't see his performance in the 4 car doing him any good to get into the playoffs for the rest of the season. We'll see. I hope I'm wrong on that. All right, but that's your results from the Alsco 300, so let's head over to the Media Center, and we will see what Christopher Bell and team had to say after this one.
Yeah, the last 25 are really probably some of the calmest laps I had out there, except I was pretty loose. So, but the longer that we ran, my car just kept getting better and better and better. And I don't know, that was kind of the motto of our weekend. We never really fired off super fast, but over the long run, we were really, really good. And especially when the top came in, that thing was rolling around there really nice.
Well, Chris, after practice yesterday, Christopher and I were talking about it. I think this is the best that I've seen the track as far as top lane to bottom lane. Just the parity between both, allowing the guys to race and work through lap traffic. I think it made for a great race today. So whatever the application was they did on the bottom and the tire that Goodyear brought, I thought this was one of the better Bristol races in a while. They're all good, don't get me wrong, but I thought this was a good one for sure.
All right, so we'll take a look at your playoff grid very quickly here before wrapping up tonight. Tyler Reddick, of course, still leads the drivers in on points and still leads the overall point standings. If you're curious, in the overall points, Reddick leads Christopher Bell by 13 points currently. As we look down here at the cutoff line, Justin Haley to Ross Chastain, like I was saying, 40-point gap now from Justin Haley to Ross Chastain. Not insurmountable, but Justin Haley's been clicking off consistent top 10 finishes for the most part, whereas Ross Chastain, I feel like, is lucky to put that car in the top 15 most weeks. He's been doing it most weeks. Most weeks he is there top 15, if not top 15, top 20. But I think that's the most he can get out of that 4 car, unfortunately, and I don't see it being enough for him to get into the playoffs. I think now that he's 40 points back from Justin Haley, I don't know. I don't want to write him off, but I don't know. It's going to be very hard for Ross Chastain. Like I said, he still has a couple starts left this season in that 10 car for Colleague Racing. I'm not sure what tracks those are at, but I do believe there is still 2 starts for him left in that car. So, and he ran very competitively the one time he was in that car, and that 10 car seems to be competitive every time they bring it to the track. So, definitely a much more competitive than the 4 car that Chastain is in and week out. So, when he is in that car, it's possible he can sneak out a win and get into the playoffs that way, and that could really change things up here. Because at this point, that makes the battle to get into the bottom of the playoffs really, I think, between Justin Haley and Ryan Sieg. But again, that's that's hypothetical, and that's down the road. That's if Ross Chastain wins a race, but I think that's the only way he gets into the playoffs going forward, because I don't see that 4-car being competitive enough, even with Ross Chastain's talent, for him to make up a 40-point gap. Even if we are this early in the season, I don't see it happening. It's just too much of a gap for the performance that we have seen out of that car, unfortunately. I would love to be wrong on that. Ross Chastain's a great guy. I think he's one of the most talented drivers out there right now, especially in the Xfinity Series. I just don't think the equipment is lending itself for him to actually make the playoffs this time around. So we'll see what happens going forward. But I think, unless something weird happens, that's your 12 playoff drivers. The ones that are in the playoffs positions right now, the ones that are in the top 12, I think that's your 12 playoff drivers this year for the Xfinity Series. Now, what order are they in? Who advances to where as we get to the playoffs? That's still to be seen. But I think those right there, Reddick, Bell, Custer, Cindric, Annett, Allgaier, Jones, Briscoe, Nemechek, Gragson, Sieg, Haley, I think those are your 12 Xfinity playoff drivers this season. Unfortunately, without a win, I don't see Ross Chastain breaking into that 12. But that's a look at your playoff grid following the Alsco 300, and I believe that'll do it for us tonight on the Xfinity Rewind. K&N Pro Series Rewind coming up as well. Not sure if that's going to go up sometime after this or if that's going to be sometime on Sunday. Still working on getting the winner interview for that, if I can talk tonight. So if we can get that lined up fairly soon, we'll hold off the show until we can get the interview in it. If that seems like it's going to be a couple of days out, then we'll go ahead and put the show up and do the interview as a separate video like we did last weekend with the Trevor Huddleston video after he won at Irwindale in the K&N West race. So we'll see what happens with that. But if nothing else, at the earliest, it probably will be sometime Sunday morning, right around the Cup preview show, which will be, of course, at its normal time, 10 a.m. This morning now, as this will definitely be out after midnight. This morning, Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Eastern. We'll premiere that and get you ready for today's Food City 500 from the Bristol Motor Speedway. Of course, Cup Rewind coming up Sunday evening to recap that. And the pole position, as usual, Monday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, to recap you on everything that happened this weekend, not just in the NASCAR world, but in all major forms of motorsports. But I believe that'll do it. So if you haven't done it already, you need to go down below, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell for notifications so you don't miss a thing going forward from RNN. While you're down there, why don't you hit that big thumbs up button if you like the video. It's much appreciated when you do. But at that, this has been the NASCAR Xfinity Series Rewind show. I'm Garth Allen for Racing News Now.